They always tell you success starts with vision, but no one tells you what it feels like when you're broke, alone, and behind. I remember one night, no food, no power in the apartment, sitting on the floor with a notepad because I couldn't afford software. I wasn't some genius with a master plan. I was desperate. That's how it actually started. There was a rainstorm outside. I could hear it tapping against the broken window. I didn't even have curtains, just an old hoodie I pinned up to block the cold. That night, I made a decision not to become rich, not to change the world. I decided I wouldn't quit, no matter how long it took. That's all I had. Persistence. I had nothing but questions. How do you make money when you're late to the game? How do you build something when everyone else already has a head start? The truth is there is no perfect moment. There is only now, and the now is brutal. It doesn't care if you're tired or scared. It just keeps going. And if you don't move with it, you get buried by it. When I first came to America, I didn't come with wealth. I washed floors. I worked in a boiler room. I got rejected more times than I can count. I slept in the office. But each day, I treated my situation like fuel. Pain became pressure. Pressure became energy. And energy became movement. The first job I ever had in the States paid minimum wage. I worked the night shift and spent my days trying to learn how to code. I didn't have a laptop, so I used public library computers. I had a timer on my wrist to make sure I didn't overstay. Those libraries became my classrooms. I read everything economics, engineering, psychology. Knowledge became my currency. I didn't have investors. I didn't have mentors. I had books. I had mistakes. I had a willingness to embarrass myself just to learn. I wasn't chasing millions. I was trying not to go under. I coded for 20 hours a day, slept under my desk, and lived off instant noodles. When people see success, they see Tesla and SpaceX. They don't see the first startup that almost killed me. Zip2 was my first real shot. I borrowed money. I asked for favors. I knocked on doors. People looked at me like I was insane. But every time someone said no, I rewired myself. Rejection became my baseline. I started to expect it and work through it. I remember pitching a company while hiding the fact that my rent was 3 months overdue. I smiled with confidence and shook hands, while in my head I wondered if I'd have a bed to sleep in. That's the paradox of the early days. You have to act like you've made it while everything inside you is breaking. The breakthrough never comes in a flash. It creeps in. One small win at a time. One person says yes. One problem gets solved. One check clears. But it's not flashy. It's lonely. And it's quiet. Success doesn't announce itself. It whispers. You don't get to 1 million by waiting. You get there by bleeding into your work. There were days I thought I would break. Days I wanted to give up. But every day I stayed broke 1 day longer, I became sharper. I didn't ask, is this fair? I asked, what now? People think there's some secret sum formula. There isn't. It's pressure, pain, purpose. That's all. If you can live through discomfort longer than the next person, you win. If you can love the process when there's no applause, you grow. If you can learn while everyone else is doubting you, you're already ahead. When PayPal came into existence, it wasn't pretty. We got hacked. We got sued. We fought internally. There were days I thought it was all going to collapse, but we adapted. We pivoted. I worked 100-hour weeks, not because I was told to, but because I was obsessed. Obsession is the key, not passion. Passion fades. Obsession burns through fear. Obsession doesn't ask for motivation. It gets up when everything hurts. I was obsessed with making it work. I didn't want comfort. I wanted progress. The first million isn't even about money. It's about discipline. It's about becoming the kind of person who can carry that weight. Because if you can make one, you can make 10. But the first is where most people break. Not because it's impossible, but because it's invisible. There's no proof it'll work. You're building with your bare hands in the dark. I worked until I forgot what day it was. My relationships suffered. My health cracked. But my belief never died. You don't need certainty. You need obsession. You need to want it more than your fear wants to stop you. So how do you make your first million if you're broke, late, lost? You start. Not next year. Not after the course. Not when someone validates you. No, with what you have. Right here. Right now. Because that's all anyone ever had. Start with $5. Start with an old laptop. Start with an idea no one believes in. You don't need permission. You need action. The path will unfold only as you walk it. The road appears for the brave, not the hesitant. Your advantage is that no one expects you to win. Good. Let them sleep on you. Let them doubt. They're just fuel. Every no is weight on the bar. Lift it. Use it. And when you finally do make it, you'll realize it was never about the money. It was about the person you became, just trying to get there. That person is unstoppable. So you want to earn your first million? Wake up before the excuses. Build while everyone else is watching Netflix. Invest time when others waste it. Obsess over getting better. Read when it's boring. Practice when it's hard. Move when it's dark. And never forget, no one owes you the dream. You have to rip it from the jaws of doubt and fear. Every minute you waste wishing, someone else is working. Let that haunt you in a good way. Let it fuel you. Let it push you so hard that even you won't recognize who you were a year ago. The first million is possible, but you don't chase it with comfort. You build it with fire.